It is now time for the Landmark College LD Luminary Award. Now, the Landmark College LD Luminary Award is given to an individual in the public eye who's committed to raising awareness of the prevalence of learning differences. This person has helped to demystify LD by demonstrating that it is not a weakness, but often a strength, a result of neurodiversity, and that everyone learns differently and operates differently. A Landmark College LD Luminary inspires people to better understand the struggles faced by neurodiverse individuals and is in a position to stimulate discussion, motivate action, and educate society about the need to affirm the benefits of neurodivergent individuals in education, the workplace, and in society. Past recipients of the LD Luminary Award have included Whoopi Goldberg, Holly Robinson-Peete, John Elder Robeson, who's here tonight, and Al Roker, who's here tonight. And thank you, Al Roker, for nominating our 2022 LD Luminary Award recipient, Sheinelle Jones. Let me give you a little bit of background about Sheinelle Jones. I'm going to grab the award first. This reminds me, when we gave this award to Whoopi many years ago, I remember the top had come off the base. This really happened, and I was holding it like this, and I wouldn't let her have it. You know, I was holding it. I didn't want it to come off. I was filming it, and I said, "No, we'll pack it up for you." But it's nice and affixed tonight. So this says Ms. Jones, but after our conversation, I'm going to call you Sheinelle tonight. All right, at our table. Sheinelle is co-host of the third hour of the Today Show. Since joining NBC News in 2014, she's covered a variety of breaking news events and human interest stories. She has completed several stories for Today about neurodiversity because of her personal interest in the topic, which she will talk about tonight. She also hosts the Today digital series Through Mom's Eyes and contributes to the Today parenting team. Sheinelle co-hosts a weekly radio show, Off the Rails, on SiriusXM with fellow Today show co-hosts Al Roker and Dylan Dreyer, and hosts Wild Child, an award-winning weekly educational series, part of NBC's The More You Know family programming. Lastly, Sheinelle is also the executive producer of the MSNBC documentary Stories We Tell, The Fertility Secret, which shines a light on 5 women of color in their journey as they reflect on the psychological and physical pains of infertility. Sheinelle, proud Kansan, come on up here and get your award.
So beautiful. Good evening. I'm so used to saying good morning, so I'll say it again because I feel like I'm cool. I'm up late. Good evening. So considering not too long ago, we were all together at many events like this in Zoom boxes. I don't know about you, but it is not lost on me how special it is that we are here in person. You can reach out and touch the person next to you. Try it. Right? Go ahead, you can touch his shoulder again. He won't mind. He's a human being. So I come to you tonight very briefly, not just as a journalist who believes it is important to tell stories that accurately reflect our communities all over this country, highlighting people of all colors, ethnicities, and yes, learning abilities. I often wear my heart on my sleeve, and I unapologetically try to lead and report with empathy and understanding. But I also come to you tonight as a big sister and a loving family member and advocate like many of you, determined to make sure that our loved ones who may face different challenges still have an opportunity to learn and seek out educators who can meet them where they are. So the young men and women we love can thrive and contribute. So I haven't told this story, but I'm going to tell you guys because you're special. So when I was a little girl, around 5 years old or so, and my little brother was around 9 or 10 months old, I remember he was walking really early, like earlier than normal. And people thought it was so cool. They say, "Oh, look, Sheila, he's walking. And then it gets a little foggy, but I also remember him falling all of a sudden. He would be walking and then he would fall and people would laugh. But, I think they just thought, oh, he's a little one. He's probably, walking and falling. But of course, a mom has a gut instinct that maybe something isn't right and that she thought something was wrong. So the months that immediately followed are a bit of a blur, but I just knew something was up. I remember staying at the Ronald McDonald House. I remember tears. I remember being at church, and people would call us up to the front of the church, and they would pray for my family and my mom and my brother. And to be honest, I think doctors were still trying to figure out what was going on with my little brother. From what I gathered, it was similar to an extremely rare autoimmune disease, an autoimmune issue. And there was really, at the time, only one other case that they knew of. They would pull all these medical journals that come from a medical background, and they found one other boy who had what my little brother had, and he lived in Europe. And my mom and his mom were pen pals, and they would write each other letters about their sons. And I remember my mom had to give him a lot of shots in the thigh and the behind, strong meds to try to reverse what was happening. And he was so strong throughout it all. I mean, he had this bright smile, these thick glasses, and we had to put a strap on the back of his head because he was all over the place, so the glasses would never stay on his face. And I've now learned that at the time, it's really all doctors knew to do. And I can tell you he's okay now. He's 39. I talk about him like he's 7 because he'll always be my little brother, but he's 39. He's okay. But those medications had side effects that caused lifelong challenges in learning and motor function for him. This, as I was academically ahead of the pack. So my mom didn't have to worry about me, as my grandparents would push me. And she could devote what now seems like a miraculous amount of energy trying to find resources for him. And I know a lot of you may be able to relate, but we went to public schools where any child with a learning disability was put in a class. There were kids in that class with behavioral issues. There were kids in that class, essentially any class that didn't fit, any child that didn't fit the mainstream, flow was just put into this class. And we would go in sometimes, and as you can imagine, it was very hard to learn in some of those environments. My mom tried Special Olympics, and then some thought he was too fast. So then she tried other centers where children had trouble speaking, and he didn't fit in there. And so it was always so hard, but my mother never stopped trying, even down to the interaction on a school bus or Sunday school. I always felt like I was his protector, and there's no question about it. The whole experience made me the person that I am today, and I'm still his protector in many ways, fiercely, in fact. I haven't really talked a lot about this experience because I believe that when the time is right, it's my brother's story to tell and not mine. But I will tell you, when you work with someone every day, and as much as I work with Al Roker here, we start to get to know each other pretty well. And I started talking to him about the challenges that we've dealt with in my family and finding a safe workspace that feels supportive for my brother, and also how to manage, helping him with everyday living skills. So it's a lot to manage. And I will put it on the record that I admire Al and Deborah so much, so much, not for what they necessarily say, but for what they do and how they parent. They are phenomenal human beings and have raised beautiful young people. I guess they're not young, but young people. And they're each so unique, and I know that it hasn't always been easy. And so when Al started telling me about Landmark, I didn't know it at the time that this was it, but I was blown away. I mean, I couldn't help but to think, goodness, what a gift you have here. I mean, we all have differences. All of us have to wrestle with how the world defines us, but here it is clear that this is a safe space to explore that. And I was talking with the president, I was looking at some of the programs of study, the athletic programs, and the clubs. I mean, there's just no question about it. This is the answer to so many of our prayers. And you know what? I have done so many stories where young men and women who are neurodiverse and in the workplace, and perhaps underestimated, bring so much talent and joy to the workplace. I look at my little brother. See, I talk about him like he's 7. I look at my little brother, and he's just so easygoing, and he's so lovable. He's such a good sport, and it is my honor to do those kinds of stories, and I'm hoping that we can redefine what a diverse workspace should look like. It's inspiring, and I hope viewers will start to reimagine it with us. Our family members and many of you in this room who I met tonight who are neurodiverse deserve all the world and more. And for you to have a place where you can tap into your full potential, it's priceless. And I don't know what the future holds, but with places like this, I think we're in pretty good hands. Finally, learning never stops. I know I'm still learning too. And it just feels good to be in a room where people get it, you know? You get it. And we're all in this together, and together our hearts, I think, are going to get us there, to a world where we imagine. So thank you for thinking of me tonight, and I'll dedicate this award to my family as we, like you, continue on this journey.